Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Lambert. Thank you for the invitation, and especially thank you that you have nominated me as a European Parliament in the expert panel for the Cultural Heritage label for the coming 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning it's a conference, a breakfast conference all about cultural heritage and culture. And thinking over what is our common cultural heritage in Europe, then for me, and I hope for you too, it's more than stones, more than historic buildings. It's about people. It's about who we are, where we come from, and where we want to go to. It must go, our cultural European heritage, about our common values that we share, and our common interests, and our common ideals for the future, for a better life for all the people in our continent. In the 5 minutes that I have been allocated here, I want to share with you just one thing, and that's my mission statement that I developed as a mayor of a beautiful city with a beautiful name, Julie, 's-Hertogenbosch. But you may say in the daily use, like we do, Den Bosch. It's far more easier when I say it's the city of that world-famous Hieronymus Bosch. He was born there, he lived there, and he called himself after the city. From origin, he was called Hieronymus van Aachen, the Dutch city, the German city. But he then loved his city so much that he changed his name in Bosch, Den Bosch, 's-Hertogenbosch. And 's-Hertogenbosch means in English forest of the Duke. So the Duke established the city nearby a forest. I can tell you 1 hour more, but you only give me 5 minutes. But it's the most beautiful city in the Netherlands, the most hospitable, etc., etc. But I read the book of Richard Florida, let's say 20 years ago, in which he said cities that invest in culture will do economically better than others, the rise of the creative class. And then I worked it out for myself, coming up to a mission around 5 words that I'm going to share with you in the coming minutes. A city that invests in culture, in sports, and in education will do better, will perform better economically and in terms of safety than others. So 5 words. You can, as a city, as a mayor, as deputy mayors, invest in these 3 things, education, sports, and culture, and then, on the end, your city will do better economically and in safety as well. I started with the 2 words of Richard Florida, culture and economics, but then I felt that sports is even as important, and education, as we all know. And then I left it in my mission statement just around 4 words for years. But then the last 7, 8 years I expanded the line with a 5th word, safety. Because mayors in the Netherlands are in charge for safety. And I learned that investing in the 3, this promotes the 2. More jobs, more security, more inclusiveness, less unemployment, less criminality, less discrimination. Or to say in these words, a city that takes care of all his youngsters, local born and immigrants, to finish their schools. This is the best antidote against unemployment. And I have told this story 1,000 times up to now, sometimes in buildings in Brussels. And there was a breakfast conference with youngsters from Spain. And then I was looking to all these academic level schooled guys and girls. And then they said to me, "Are you sure that this is good for my employment?" With a youth unemployment for over 50%. And then I was a little bit out of my control. But after 5, 6 seconds, I said to them, what do you think that your chances on the labor market would have been without a diploma? I think you wouldn't have. Do you really think that you have had more chances than with a diploma? So, giving all the youngsters in your city a diploma to help them to finish their schools, sometimes to force them to finish, is the best antidote against unemployment. And when a city, second, offers sports facilities to these same youngsters, this is the best antidote against hanging around, vandalism, ending up in criminality. And then bringing all the youngsters into contact with all kinds of culture. This is the best antidote against intolerance, disrespect, exclusion, discrimination. Reading a good book, seeing a touching film, looking to a penetrating theater play, reading a moving poem, listening to a protest song. It makes you at least doubt. And doubt, as you know, is the beginning of change. And change is the beginning of being liberated, of, as an actress from Antwerp learned me 3 things. It liberates you from your unfair prejudices. Doubt, change, prejudices. It liberates you from your fear from the unknown, the foreigner, the immigrant, the asylum seeker, and other cultures, other religions. And in the third place, it can liberate you from your overall too stiff vision on the world. So bringing youngsters to school, to sports, to culture, the total of it develops courageous people. Let's hope. Courageous people that stand up against injustice, that fight for justice, for equal opportunities for all. And so, doing as a city, investing in these 3, it is an investment in an inclusive city. I was really 25 years a member of the Committee of the Regions. I was there from the beginning until 2 years ago. And there I learned what is good for a city is good for a region, is good for a country. And on the end I learned, after the shooting incident in Houston, in the United States, where someone on our TV in the Netherlands said from over there, I'm doubting to go back to Europe because this is not a safe continent anymore, United States. So I learned that what is good for a city, investing in these 3 things, is good for a continent as well. Investing in economics, culture, sports, and education is good for the economics of the continent, and it's good for the safety of the continent. Because smart people have the chance to choose their own continent where they want to live. And that's why I call you, I'm ending up, you and myself, let Europe invest in education, sports and culture, because Europe needs courageous people, courageous citizens, courageous politicians, that especially in times of fear and uncertainty, dare to dream about a new narrative for Europe, to make it a safe and economic strong continent. And dare to tell the narrative not about Europe as a problem or a threat, but Europe as a challenge and a chance, an ideal that has to be passed on. Ladies and gentlemen, let us start today by passing on the new narrative for Europe, a narrative of hope and trust. Thank you very much.